Welcome back, everybody, to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, and we begin with some bad news. Disaster at Louisville Ferry. The Cairo squadron is in retreat from their conflict with the enemy. Although you see here, it says the Battle of Louisville Ferry ended with the Cairo squad retreating. Condition of the enemy fleet is believed to be barely afloat, which means we could probably hit them again, and we might have a little better luck. So we'll have to wait until the Cairo squadron kind of retreats a little bit. We are sending some help to them. We'll get some more guns in that fleet. I want to take a look at them real quick here and see the condition. Our condition's actually pretty good as far as the ships go. They're just not functioning, I guess, together as a fleet. So we'll wait until they recover. We'll send them back, and we'll hit that New Orleans squadron again and hopefully have better luck. In the meantime, I have just about all of the patron units recruited. Once I've got them all recruited, I'm going to make a separate video that I will upload to Patreon and show you guys exactly where every single one of your units are so you can find them. And then if I make any changes, I'll let you know that. So one of the things that a couple of you pointed out to me, and I hadn't realized this, I just kind of took it for granted, was that the default to use rail or river movement was disabled on all of my units. So I always thought that was automatically enabled, but I guess it has not been. So we're going to take care of that moving forward when it comes to the movement of our forces, making sure that we're using all of those available options to us. We're slowly winning this siege battle that's taking place in Paoli, Indiana. Looks like we drove off one of the armies already, and we'll very soon drive off another. I may just have to auto-resolve this at some point, but it looks like I can't. So, situation right now, 139,000 men in the field for us, 99,000 for the enemy. We're very soon getting to the spring campaign season. We're going to start making some moves when that time comes. All right, our Cairo squadron, 42 guns, 0 disabled ships, ready to send them back at the New Orleans squadron, who does not have a home port to retreat to. So I feel like I'm in a good position to be able to give them a good shellacking here. I'd really like to see a situation where I can actually fight with one of these armies so I can resolve these situations. These sieges just seem to be going on forever in these two spots, and in the meantime I can't really do a whole lot with either one of those armies. Agriculture 1 policy has been selected. So let's go ahead back to our policies. And I think we're going to go ahead now. We'd have to pay to do another policy. We could do Militia Act 4. It's going to increase our recruitment quotas and allow us to recruit more troops when needed. Alright, let's see what happens this time around with our Cairo squadron. I think we'll probably be able to drive off the New Orleans squadron at this point. And there we go. See, our ships are in much better shape than theirs are. We've got far more guns available, much more firepower. A glorious victory at Louisville Ferry. We sank 2 of his ships, disabled a 3rd. Excellent. That's the way we like to see it happen. And that squadron disintegrated, which means that those ships will reform at some point down further. But in the meantime, now we can protect as far as like island number 10, that area down here. I need to really deal with this situation, so I'm going to send McClellan over, see if we can't once and for all deal with this issue that we're having with the armies in southern Indiana. Fugitive Slave Act annulled. Army officer not to return slaves. Okay, let's go ahead and send the Army of the Kanawha. Actually, don't quite have the supplies that I think we need to make this. Well, we're at 100%. Confederate recruits offered bounties. Alright, so if we go up here and grab Grafton and then Wheeling, West Virginia will secede from Virginia and become a separate state. Alright, moving McClellan into Paoli, Indiana was enough to get the job done. So we've driven them off, which now means we can We'll move McClellan back. We'll keep the Army of Indiana up there to keep an eye on things. And then we're going to go ahead and move Grant once we're able to select him, because we've got these armies that are on top of each other here. We're going to move Grant back down to his base of supply at the Hartford Depot. Let's highlight all the available types of movement so he can choose one of those if he wants. Okay, our first move in the spring campaign is going to be by the Department of the West. We're going to go ahead and start moving toward the south. We're going to first make a stop here in Dyersburg, Tennessee, because there's some supplies there. From there, we can then march down, take Memphis, and then head toward Little Rock. Grant's army is going to need some time to recover from their movement, get resupplied, but we do have a third perk available. We've got Flying Column Ambulance Corps. Next, I'm not entirely sure where I want to go. Engineers and mechanics might be nice. Especially since I'm going to have to build some forts and some supply depots. Yeah, let's do that. But now we've got to wait, because you can see Grant's readiness is very poor at the moment. But now he's back where the supplies are, and we're going to upgrade that depot to a 3. Once he stops, his readiness will start going up. McClellan's already working on his. Once his gets into the green, we're going to make a move toward Knoxville. We're going to have to build some supplies along the way. Okay, Army of the Kanawha has taken Grafton. Once we take Wheeling, I might send Richardson over to help out with the situation with the Army of the Potomac. I'm going to choose Flying Column here, I think. Army of Indiana is still moving, apparently. They're going really, really slow. Wow, conscription introduced into the Confederacy. We can probably expect to see their numbers go up dramatically now. They were at 100,000 about a month ago. They're already 133,000. We're going to have to start improving our numbers as well if we want to compete with that. Right now, my concern is just readiness. We're taking a long time to get ready to be able to start moving into the south. And so in the meantime, we're pretty much stuck. McClellan's getting closer. This is just a mess that never seems to end over here. Can we finally launch an assault and win this battle? Alright, looks like we can finally fight the battle. So we can see what's going on here, and that is siege works everywhere for the Confederacy. We're fighting on the Chancellorsville battlefield, which means we're going to be going through some pretty rough terrain. We've got a lot of unstable or otherwise pretty weak situations as far as our forces go. You can see almost all of them have unstable morale. A few are a little better off, so we're going to have to take this slow and pretty cautious, especially when you consider these guys are sitting in fortifications on pretty easily defensible positions on high ground. This is going to get interesting. Okay, so I've got 4 divisions on the left side over here of the Rappahannock. We've got 2 divisions on the right. So this is U.S. force. Fredericksburg's right down here. You can almost see Fredericksburg on this map. That's how close these battlefields are together. If you visit the area down there, Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, the Wilderness, and Chancellorsville are all within like a half-hour drive of each other. They're really close. It just shows you how much fighting was going on in those areas. So I'm going to send Pleasanton out with the 1st U.S. Cavalry, see if we can't figure out where the enemy is. Because just because he's got these fortifications doesn't mean that he's actually in the fortifications. Okay, we've spotted them. Looks like they're up in this area here. Interesting that they're not really behind the fortifications. So we're going to start making our move on this side. Let me send Keim up, I don't know, like right up here and see if we can get a better sense of where the rest of his army is. He doesn't have a tremendously large force here that we're dealing with, I don't think. I guess we're estimating 38,000 men at the moment. So similar to mine. I thought I had more men than that, but we must have some reinforcements on the way. So I'm sending my first units up the hill in the form of the Pennsylvania Dutch Brigade, New Jersey Militia, and the Essex Brigade, who are all unstable, which concerns me greatly. I do have Pleasanton's cavalry up here. We got a whole bunch of artillery sitting back here, but there's just no good place to use it. We're going to move Mansfield and Halleck's divisions up this way, but we're already seeing that he does have men up there as well. So no matter where we go, we're going to have to attack. This is not going to be an easy situation. All right, let me see what I can do about getting some of Hunt's artillery up here. We're going to hit nightfall before too long. So I don't think any fighting is going to happen on the first day. Oh, he's backing up now. Interesting. Okay, end of day one. Looks like the army of the Susquehanna has arrived. I knew I had to have some reinforcements on the way. So that helps tremendously. Where are they, is the question. Look at these fortifications. They're just everywhere. All right, so Scott's coming in from this side, actually. Interesting. So we're going to be able to get him up right here on this road. And we'll come up toward this objective here with him. We'll actually have a chance to put the Confederates in a bit of a pincer movement. I'm going to be pretty slow to launch any major attacks. At the very least, I can get these guns up here into this clearing and get them in a spot where they can actually make a difference. Okay, I've got everybody deployed the way I want them. We've got a pretty good idea of where most of the rebels are. Now we got to start moving Winfield Scott's army. It's interesting that the Foreign Legion division is showing as broken. That's all a result of that siege that was happening over the winter. It just has our morale situation in just a terrible situation overall. So we're just going to send everybody right up this road for now. These guys are going to sit tight. We're going to wait for Scott's army to get in position for their morale to improve a little bit. And we'll wait and see what happens here with the guns. These guys don't seem to have the ability to fire. I don't know why. I guess we got to get them up on top of the hill a little more. So it looks like morale's equally very poor on the Confederate side. So that gives me a little bit of hope that units are going to break fairly easily. So I've just got to pick and choose where to make things happen. 5th Division under Sumner. That's the Essex Brigade, New Jersey Militia, Pennsylvania Dutch Brigade. Right there. And then Barnard's division over here with the Keyes 1st Division, or 1st Brigade, Schenck's 2nd Brigade, and the 1st Maine under Oliver Howard. These are pretty crack units. I'm going to go ahead and send that division up here. And then we'll bring Wilcox up into their former position. We're holding Morgan's division in reserve at the moment, the Nordic Division. Looks like he's actually moving out from his fortifications. So let's go ahead and give Mansfield and Halleck orders to defend this position. And then we wait patiently for Winfield Scott to move his army into position. Let's go ahead and speed time up a little bit, see what happens. It's going to take a while for Mansfield and Halleck to get those orders. I don't know why Mansfield's moving forward like that. Here come the orders. You can see the courier riding in. I forgot I had Keim's cavalry sitting there. Let's pull them back over here for the time being. Yeah, the Confederates are launching an attack down that road. That's interesting. That's coming at the Royal Highlanders, Royal Americans. These are units that have seen a lot of action already. Oh, Halleck's going to move his whole division. I should have just left the stance button off and just let these guys sit where they were, because they were in a perfect defensive position. I had to go and give the generals the right to do something themselves. Alright, let's get Morgan over here. You can see this Confederate division moving in on my flank. I don't know which way these fortifications are facing. I think they're facing down, which means I can't really use them, but we can at least move a division over here onto that flank. I have no idea what these guys are doing. Oris Ferry's got some skirmishers out here. Enemy's lost 550 men already. That's crazy. Alright, get your stuff together, Mansfield and Halleck. How are we coming with our movement up here? They're starting to get into position. They're headed for this objective here. We got Earl Van Dorn sneaking in behind us. George Morgan slowly moving his troops over there, but it's going to take a little while. I'm going to have to tell Sumner to move up. Oh boy, we got another Confederate division coming down from over here I didn't see coming. Alright, Winfield Scott, let's send Gibbon down that way. It's going to take some time. Actually, Gibbon's kind of in the lead there. We're going to send the Foreign Legion down, because they're a little farther to the rear. It'll be easier to switch them over. Man, this is going to be a mess. Just like the real Chancellorsville and Wilderness battles were, because of the nature of the area. And of course, Hooker was in command at Chancellorsville, and he's in command at least of the left wing of my army here. I have no idea what Mansfield's doing. Well, thankfully I've got this cavalry unit over here. That helps. We'll dismount them and get them fighting. Boy, Mansfield's pulling way back. Morgan's taken a while just because of the terrain. He had to go down into this little river valley, and now he's coming up and over some pretty substantial fortifications, which are, you can see, fragmenting the forces. That's something that happened. I think of Vicksburg, for example, where Grant's men had to go down into a valley and then try to come up the other side against sticks all over the place, and various kinds of fortifications, and it just completely destroys any semblance of a battle line. Wow, these guys are getting down here much faster than I expected. I do not want to really touch this line if I don't have to. Alright, Morgan. Let's do this. So this is the Nordic Division. You can see here the Danish Berserkers from Wisconsin are the first ones to go into combat in this part of the line. They're taking on Earl Van Dorn and doing a really nice job. Give Morgan orders to extend his forces out long range and send out skirmishers as well. Alright, Scammon, send out skirmishers. Once we get your whole division in position, we'll move them up. Oh, Keim's not looking good. He's broken after having lost 21 men. Mansfield has no idea what he's doing. Alright, I think we've got some action happening here too. The 5th Division. Send out some skirmishers and go long range. This one battery's not firing yet. We're waiting on the Prussian brigade to move into position. Interesting, now these guys are pulling back. Probably because they see these men coming down over here. Alright, we're still waiting on the rest of Winfield Scott's army to move into position. A lot of moving parts here. Alright, Swedish guards are in the action now too. Earl Van Dorn's not having a good day. Going up against our Scandinavian men. That's the Nordic Division. Alright, I think we can go ahead and move Scammon forward. We're going to keep him in a double line. I like having one brigade as a reserve there. Let's get Alfred Pleasanton out here on the edge. I think the Essex Brigade just drove these guys off. Lost 109 men. I'm going to move the Nordic Division forward. Alright, Mansfield, let's deal with these guns, shall we? Pretty soon we're going to be able to push this battle line out. If we can get these guys to drop back, we can kind of connect the dots here, so to speak. Let's get Gibbon moving forward again. Gibbon's a southerner from North Carolina. The Battle of Fredericksburg, he was facing off, I think, against Lane's brigade on the left wing of the Union Army, facing off against a unit that included his brothers who were fighting for the Confederacy. Gibbon was one of the first commanders of the Iron Brigade. In fact, he was in command of that brigade when they got the name. I don't think Mansfield knows what he's doing. We're going to switch him to an attack stance, though. Alright, casualties. 3,000 for the enemy, just 800 for me. Honestly surprised that with those kinds of casualties we haven't seen more men breaking with the morale as low as it is. And I think the only reason it hasn't happened is because he's got all those objective points. Alright, we drove off that battery, or most of it. Let's get Halleck into an attack stance now. And then move him forward. We're going to get this division here in a bit of a pincer move. Things have quieted down some now. Nordic Division, in all of that fighting, only lost 51 men. That's fantastic. How many casualties did they inflict in doing that? I'm really curious about that. Inflicted 1,000 casualties and lost 51 men. Nice job, boys. Nice job. Not bad for a bunch of nervous guys under my weakest division commander, George Morgan. They're at 67% ammunition. Let's get them in right along this stream here. Oh, man. First Victorian volunteers broke. think we'll be okay. All right, here goes Alec moving forward. We've got Scammon coming in on the other side with the Foreign Legion now in a double line. Instead of 3 and 1, they've got 2 and 2. You know, Marks and a Patrick. I upgraded the weapons for these guys, so now they're not only U.S. regulars with some skill and experience, they've also got decent weapons to go with it. Oh, Alec, what are you doing? Turning around and going the other way. That's what he's doing. Yeah, we're going to keep holding the battle line right here and not doing much with it. That's intentional. I'm going to move these guys back. I want to win the battle on this side. Alright, so Alec's starting to move back into position now. I don't know what Mansfield's doing at the moment. But we've broken Wade Hampton up here on this hill. He's lost almost half his men. Henry Halleck's just doing his own thing. He's got a feud with his commander, probably because of his fame. We'll have to look over all our commanders after the battle. Nordic Division's getting into position. A defensive line behind here. I'm going to pull the skirmishers back in and then send them out again in the right position. There we go. Jones broke. Come on, Alec, get moving. Should only be a matter of time before Jull breaks as well. Alright, looks like Gibbon's into position along this creek here. We do see a few Confederate units there. We got all this artillery here, but not really any good place to put them, to make use of them. Who's running low on ammo? Ricketts. That's the Danish Berserkers. They're down to 27 rounds. It's a little less than half. You usually go in with 60. And if you think about it, if you're firing steady, you're running out of ammo in less than a half hour. Alright, we pretty much broke this division now. Although it looks like Hampton recovered. 4,000 enemy casualties, only 1,000 for us. This has been an interesting battle, to say the least. Still, don't want to have to attack those guys. I feel like I can win this battle without doing that. Let's push Alec forward. And Scammon. Try to finish these guys off. Mansfield, who knows what's going on with him. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and tell Gibbon to go forward. With his 7,000 men. At some point I might attack his flank over here. That's Barnard. He's only got 4,000 men though. We do also have the 1st U.S. Cavalry over here though. We could bring them in on their flank. Give them an extra 1,100 men. And we got Don Carlos Buell out here too. Only 700 men though. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's November, so we're not going to have a lot of daylight. And this is actually a good thing because it's going to give me a chance to redeploy. at the end of the day, and resupply, which is even more important right now with all the firing we've done. You can see units like Markson and Patrick now low on ammo. Alright, Alec, you're going to have to shift your division back up this way, although I think we're going to run out of daylight here in a minute. Let's shift Scammon over this way. Gibbon's coming down. Man, I wish I could find somewhere to use this artillery. Andrews is going to run into Jull here in a second. That's the English brigade. Pour it into them, boys. Let's get a look at them firing. Some black-hatted fellers. Oh yeah, we got him in a bunch now. Problem is, it's about to run out of daylight, so he's going to get a chance to redeploy. But this is what I was hoping for. Forget these guys over here. This is where I wanted to win this battle. Coming in from three sides, he doesn't know what to do. Gibbon's about to have some fun here. He's got a whole lot of stuff in his immediate vicinity. Oh man, I thought I upgraded all the units in this army, but I guess not. Williams' brigade still has mixed muskets. Wynkoop does as well. We do have the 117th Pennsylvania. They've only got Model 1817s. We need to upgrade those too. Send out some skirmishers. I think we're about to hit the end of the day. Yep. Okay. Here we go. How did we switch back to a minor defeat after all of that? So he's got all those objective points. You can see his morale actually went up a little bit. So this is far from over. 6,000 casualties for the enemy, 1,375 for me. We're going to put Scammon into a single line now. I want to try and extend my line as much as I can. Mansfield. I think I really need to get Mansfield into reserve. Well, no, he hasn't lost that many men. Let's push Morgan up. I'm going to hold these guys where they are. Still no intention of attacking. This is where the battle is going to be fought. Oh, he built fortifications. Lovely. Any chance I can get the rest of these guns firing? Oh, this is going to be a mess. Alright, let's push forward. Close the trap. Keep these guys occupied. Oh, he shifted. Look at that. That was actually brilliant. He moved everybody over here in the redeployment phase. Well, good for you, dude. Didn't see that coming. I should have, but I didn't. That's alright, doesn't change the situation. Making sure I had all my units in position. It just means we start moving forward with these guys. bring Sumner around over here. Prussian Brigade under Morel is going to be facing that way. Oh man, he's got Pemberton's cavalry coming right at my artillery over here, and I've got no protection for that artillery at all. Come on, Zook. Zook was killed at Gettysburg, historically. That's it, drive him off. Oh man, Wynkoop's got a lot of fire in his front. But we're closing in with everybody. He does have a few units over here ready to fight. Go at him, Barnard. Barnard's one of my smaller divisions. Send Orlando Wilcox at Jull here. Simon Buckner right out in front. Come on, Wynkoop, pour it into him. This is going to be a devastating battle for the Confederates in terms of losses. They're going to lose 10,000 men before this thing's over. Although they did just pass Conscription Act, so they're going to have plenty of men coming in. Gonna let this kind of keep unfolding here. I think the battle's about to be over. Nice job by all of our forces under some pretty difficult conditions. Who was killed? The commander of the Fighting Blue Hens, DuPont. Captain DuPont was killed at the head of his troops. De Rosie's brigade, remember him from earlier in the campaign? They were the ones, somebody called him Stonewall de Rosie because he was the one that was behind the lines wreaking havoc on my army and just driving off multiple brigades. Well, we just whipped him and took him out of the war. But yeah, the Fighting Blue Hens, I'm not even sure where they were. Right here. DuPont, he was killed. What happened to that unit? Where did they find them? They were over here with that artillery that got overrun. Here comes Stonewall Jackson now. When he redeployed, I got my artillery in the Department of Pennsylvania, the Army of the Susquehanna now it is, got stuck in a really bad situation there. And this is turning into a rout now. Dang, that was a big victory. 2,290 lost for me. 12,000 casualties for Joe Johnston's forces. I want to inspect the battlefield for a second because I want to look at those numbers. Casualties inflicted were pretty even between the two armies, the Army of the Susquehanna, Army of the Potomac. Let's look at the Army of the Potomac for a second here. You can see the Nordic Division, the Regulars Division, and the 1st Division all inflicted 1,000 casualties apiece. Foreign Legion inflicted the majority of the casualties on this army. The Irish Brigade in particular inflicted 1,166. Beautiful job, guys. Beautiful job. Just occurred to me that it says that battle's taking place November 29th, 1861. We're in the middle of 1862. I hope there's not a glitch that's going to screw things up, because we should be in spring 1862 right now. Let's see what the map says when we get back. Maybe it's just a little glitch. We did have another big update of the game right before this one started, so I might have to do a little repair. Alright, yeah, it's April 19th of 1862, so we're good there. It does also say that it's 107 degrees, so we know that's not accurate. So I'm going to wrap this episode up right there and do a little repair job on the install. That's something that we can do. Hopefully that'll correct any of those issues. We've had some major updates to the game. But we did just drive off those forces out of northeastern Virginia. So hopefully we can establish ourselves with a base of supply. Get these two armies in better shape. We'll get their perks going, all that sort of thing. And then we'll kind of go from there. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. If you want to get in on the action with a brigade, you can click on the link for Patreon and head on over and put in your brigade request there. Thanks for watching.